Okay, so my apologies, students. This where we kind of got interrupted was on the demonstrations of how you can apply patterns and texture to your paintings. I know I talked about previously how, well, just to recap, when we're using things like this to recap, or let's start over again. I'm starting over. When we are using techniques like this in our watercolor paintings, we do not want to rely on them all the time. We just want to use these as suggestions to suggest something, or we don't want to make our entire painting about these techniques. We want to use them sparingly. We don't want our paintings to look gimmicky. So that's why I'm just giving you a little bit word of caution when we do this. Now, because, we want to just create the illusion of, we don't want to make the painting about this, okay? This is the one where I use this plastic doily. These are great. If you see anything like this in the five and dimes or dollar stores or anything like that, grab them because these are hard to find. I bought this more than 35 years ago when I first moved to this beautiful town of Milford. And it has come in handy so many times I can't even begin to tell you. So in the spray technique, this is how I was able to get this pattern. I laid this over the paper, and with my Holbein Artist Watercolor spray bottle, I gently sprayed just enough of the watercolor mixture. This is just in here in this bottle. I've got Peacock Blue by Holbein, which is one of my favorite extra blues that I have, and a little bit of quinacridone rose just to tone it down a little bit because Peacock Blue is pretty vibrant. It's a beautiful color, but I didn't want to put it straight from the tube for the demonstration. So, you mix your paint, you add your water, give it a good shake so that all the paint from the tube, because I did use paint straight from the tube in here because I needed good juicy paint to do this for this bottle. So this is the one that we got using this plastic lace doily. The other textures that I have from my texture pattern box, which I'm going to get right now, are all of these little gems here. So look at this pile of stuff. This pile of stuff. This is all kinds of stuff you can find around the house. This is a fine weave. I don't have super much luck with this one. It's better on Yupo because it's such a fine, delicate pattern texture. But this one is amazing. These here are wonderful to use. These are, I found this at, oh gosh, what's that store? Home Goods, okay? In their placemat section. There were 4 of them. I'm using another one somewhere else, but obviously you only need one at a time, but I think it was 4 placemats like this for $7.99. I grabbed them because I know that I'll use them. I've also made stamps out of this too. So this is another example, and I'll show you this one. And actually, I'm going to rip one off right there, which I just ripped it, but that's okay. So I got this one. This one here is another placemat that I got at Home Goods. And this one I've used to create textures using alcohol, ink, acrylic paint, watercolor, and I've actually designed some textile designs using this too in my mixed media. This one again is another placemat. I think it was offered at the store at Christmas time. It looks kind of like a poinsettia. This is another great one, and you can use it over and over and over again. Just wipes off with a water and sponge, or you can just put it in the sink with water, wash it off. I've used it for acrylic in my mixed media painting, and I've used it in watercolor. I've also used it with molding paste to create texture in my acrylic paintings, which is really cool. So it's another plastic placemat. I know you can get them on Amazon too. I just don't know how inexpensive they are. I just see them, you know, and I grab them because I know what I can do with them. This here is a rug pad, which I have quite a few of these. And in my painting called Games of Boys and Men, there's a muslin marble bag. And this is actually what I use to get the texture of the cloth in that marble bag, or on the marble bag. So this is what I used in that one. This one, actually, back to the lace doily, in my painting called Freckles. It's a beautiful, vibrant, large orange lily, oriental lily, with a deep, rich blue background, which is still evident on here. I use this to indicate the pattern on the cloth behind the flower. So this is what I use to create that illusion of pattern behind that flower. This one here is another rug pad, which is different from this one, you know. So these two will also create texture. And then last but not least, for this batch, I know I've got lots more. This one is another plastic placemat. Tightly woven, it's plastic. So these are the things I wanted to just show you what they can do, and I'm just going to show you how to do it again. And I'm also going to go over the lifting techniques one more time too. So to give you an example of this one, let's do this one right here. I'm going to cover these up. Let me just move these to the side so I don't get them full of paint. I'm going to cover this up here with some Yupo paper. I have some stuff going on the one side, but Yupo is an awesome paper. My marble, I don't know what I'm going to do with this, but it's too pretty for me to throw away. So anyway, I'm going to cover that right there like that. And I'm going to move the keyboard here real quick so I don't get that. But, all right, so I'm going to take the bottle. Oops, my chair disappeared. I'm going to take the bottle, got that down flat, and I am going to give this a gentle spray. I don't want to put a ton of it on, but I'm going to spray gently from a distance. I don't want a ton, just a tiny bit. Okay, ooh, that might be too much. Okay, so I'm going to gently take this away here. I'm going to wipe it off. So get that clean, wipe it off. And then we'll take this one away, like that. Wipe that off real quick. And now we're going to gently lift this up like that. And there you go. That is that one. And I'm going to quick clean it while it's still wet. You want to keep them clean. Watercolor, you don't want, you don't want to lay it down on something and have a lot of paint on it, and then you go down and spray again, and then the previous paint gets wet and comes off onto your surface. So that's why you want to keep them clean. I'll throw this in a bunch of water when I'm totally done today. But this is what you get with that one, which is really cool. So then let's move to this one. So we're probably going to need another, I'll just do this here. I'll put my testing paper here. I'll put this here. And you probably already know what's going to happen when I don't know if I should do that right now, but I'll just be real careful. I'll put that there. And be careful not to spray over there. So this is what I'm going to use. This one I got from Michael. I don't remember what department, but it was a big piece of it. And it's kind of like a foam. So I just thought, well, that would be fun. So I'm just lightly going to spray that there. Okay. I don't want to do too much. You never really want to do too much. So let's take that away. This away. Let's wipe that off real quick again. And then take this away. I wanted to keep that fresh. Lightly lift that off and voila. There you have that. Which is really, it's a definite pattern for sure. So if you're looking for a definite pattern, that's a great thing to do. Now with these, you can always add a glaze of watercolor over it. Okay, which is wonderful. You can lay a watercolor wash down first with one color, lay this over the top, spray lightly with another color, and then you'll have layers, but with this pattern showing, and it's wonderful. Okay, so now let's see. Let's pick another one. Let's go up here. I'm going to go in this section right here just to mix it up a little bit. Let's cover this up. So as you can see, you're getting the idea of what you can do for sure. And this is a lot of fun to do. It's like a lot of fun surprises. But like I said, you don't want to make it a staple, like a major part of your painting. You just don't want to do that. You just want to do it in a couple areas and then move on. If you don't, like I said, you don't want your painting to be about this technique, because then it becomes a gimmick, and I think people will then, you want the audience, you want the viewer to wonder what the heck you did to get that. You don't want it to be obvious. Like, how did they do that? How did they get that in there like that? You want them guessing. You don't want it to be obvious what you did. Let's see what this did. Okay, so there's got a little bit of blotchiness there, which I didn't want. Hey, Remy, you can't have that cardboard. Oh, no, you can't have that. Sorry, my dog just tried to steal one of my texture things that fell on the floor. That's not a good thing. Okay, so I don't want those blotches. I mean, you could leave it if you wanted to. It's kind of grungy, but I just don't want them. So I'm just going to get those up a little bit like that. There we go. There we go. Just make it a little bit more. So there's that texture there. Looks like a woven cloth. And let's do this one right here. Let's check this one out. This one again is another rug pad. So I've got I can rip that up because I've got several rug pads here. This is a rug pad, this is a rug pad, and that's a rug pad. All different kinds. I'm going to lay this down right here. Okay, and I'm going to put this back down here like this. And we'll just put that there like that. And give my paint bottle a good shake, because you always want to keep it mixed. You don't want the colors to, oops, lightly spray. I'm getting a little bit too much there. Put that back, lift that away. Okay, take that away. Take this away, and there you go. So that's that one. And that one, I really like that one. That's very cool. I like that one a lot. I haven't used that one in a while, but I do like it. Okay, so these are the 3 different rug pads that I have. These, this one is that doily. I don't know what I'd get out of this one. We'll try it up here. Little weave textures here. Don't know if that one will work. I know I use this one when I lay it down in acrylic paint. I lay it down and let it dry a bit. And then when I lift it, I get great results. But I'm not sure what's going to happen with this. So let's just do that and see what happens. All right, let's give that a good spray. Let's see. Let's cover this up. Don't really want it to go over on that side. We'll see. This is pretty tight. Tighter. Oh, oops, I aimed wrong. Straight down. Oops, sorry guys, my hair was in the way. All right, so got that. This. Take that away, this away. And, well, that's interesting. Very interesting. Very subtle. Very subtle. So here's another example. So here is, this is another placemat that I had. And then, oh, they're dropping all over the place. They are dropping all over the place. So I'm just running the gamut here. Let's just cover that one up. Let's cover that up. And cover this up. And cover that up there. And I'm just going to do a little bit on this. Okay, get that. Obviously, I think you're getting the idea, right? Anything you want to use to create a pattern, texture, you can use with the spray. And what's nice about this, since you're using transparent watercolor, when you do this and you enter shows, it's still watercolor. I mean, you can actually create sort of a watercolor collage in a sense by adding all these elements, if you wish, or just add them straight into your painting. I love this one, so I just want to show you this one real quick. And let's see, let's do this. Let's do this because I want to see both. I'm going to do, let's do this like that. Okay, like that. I'm going to put this here. And this here. Okay. And my bottle. Okay. This. There. Okay. You just spray lightly. I see there's a couple big droplets that came out of that. It's probably I need to clean it a little bit. But let's see that. And grab it and lift. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that a lot. Very pretty. Now you didn't get much out of that. You did, but it's harder to see because it's so small. But we did get it on. I will lift this up to the camera so you can see better. So we did get a nice effect there as well, which is real nice. So that's pretty cool there. And what can I do last but not least? I did that one, did that one. Oh, here's another one we can try. Oh, we got two more. And these are just all kinds of different gizmos here. This one is another placemat. Another placemat. I've done this one in my mixed media stuff. I've had a lot of fun with that one. I'm going to put that like that. Give that a little spray. Okay. Lift, 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 lift. Lift, lift, lift. Say voila. Say voila. That's fun. That's a fun pattern. For me it is anyway. I don't know. Might not be for others, but it is fun for me. But this is a lot of fun. So all these fun textures and patterns. When I say texture, I'm referring to more or less something like this, like to create the textured look of a cloth. It would be something like this. These are patterns for sure, okay? For sure. Let me just get, I had paint on it, and now it's all over my hands, so I'll be moving gingerly to get it off, and get that off there. And last but not least, let's see if I can find another texture. I don't think that'll work. No, wait a minute. Let's see. Oh, let's see. How about I don't know if this one will work, but we're going to try it. I'm going to lay this down. Let's lay that down. I don't know if we'll get anything with that one, but we'll try it. I know the placemats work great. I know they do. I know they work really well, so I'm going to put that down there. textures are more too, like the salt technique, where you can get like a grainy look. Let's see, where'd my little paint spray bottle go? Let's see what this does. I'm not sure I'm gonna get what I want out of this one, but we'll check it out. I just sprayed underneath it. Might just be, not sure what's gonna happen with that one. But you know, you just gotta try. If it doesn't work, you always try first before you do it on your real painting, okay? You don't want to experiment on your painting. You want to experiment on a test paper first. I'm going to dab that off, because I already know. Whoops, I moved it. Oh, okay. Well, that's a definite pattern in that one. Okay, so I'm going to let these dry. And let's see if I can... That's still a little damp. This one's dry. So what I'm going to do is show you how you can glaze over that with another color. We'll do something light, something that'll mix well with that. And let's see, gonna see what I have here. So let's go to the palette. I don't want to do green. Let's move that. I'm going to try, let's move this one out of the way. I'm going to try this. Let's put some, I think I'm going to use some more, I think I'm going to do a layer of, what should I use here? Something that'll give a different, I'm going to try some of this, let's see, permanent rose, don't want the opera. Yeah, let's do, what's this one here? I don't know these by heart. This is a different, oh, this is, let's try this one. Let's try this one. This one is Janet Rogers by Cheap Joe's. It's Janet's Violet Rose. I don't use it a lot, but it's a pretty color. So let's just get a nice light glaze of that. A little more pigment in there. Let's put a little more water in there. Alright. Alright. Don't want it super strong. And like usual, test it out first before you put it down. Okay. Always test it out. Okay, so I'm going to take that. I think I do want to put more water in it though. I don't want it really bright. Nope, I don't. Okay, so I'm going to go back to this. And we're going to see, since this one is dry, this one's still damp, that's still damp, that one's pretty dry, that's definitely wet. So let's just do this one. So I'm just going to do this just to see what happens. And we can glaze right over that. Now it's dry underneath. When it's totally dry like that, it's not going to go anywhere. No, so a little more of this, drop it. Now, if I wanted to do a really good wash, I would have this at an angle so that I could get a nice smooth wash. But for this demo, I don't really need to do that. And put a little down. See what I put a little bit of water down. If the paint is not totally dry underneath and you do this, you're either going to blur it or you're going to lose it when you put the top coat of paint on. So that's why you want it totally dry. See, as it is right now, when I put the water down, some of that blue is coming up. And that's what's happening there. I'm getting some of that blue paint is lifting off right there. And you can see that because the color is becoming darker. Okay, it's a different color now because now the blue from underneath is lifting up, but you can still see the pattern underneath, so it's okay, right? So that's actually quite pretty. I'll just put a little bit more of that down in there. You can just play with it and just see what happens. I highly suggest you experiment and see what happens when you do things like this. So, as in the case of that freckles painting, there were some areas where I just took my brush and lifted, and a sponge, and lifted some of it out in areas because I didn't want it to be quite obvious. Some areas I thought I had too much. Same with the one when I did the marble painting. There were some areas where I lifted it, hey guys, and then to make, you know, like some areas I wanted it to be in the highlight, so I lifted it off a little bit. So this is what happens when you put a glaze over it. The pattern's still showing through. I did put a thick glaze, as you can see. It's got a lot of water. It's very watery. It's more watery than skim milk. It's quite watery, but there's just enough where it. And see what happened here. I've got a bloom going on right there because I put wet watercolor down. Oops. I put wet watercolor down another piece, and it wasn't totally, the pink wasn't dry before I added another one, so it pushed the paint. But anyway, that's what you get when you put a glaze over it, which is a really nice look. Now, the other thing that kind of got wiped out when we were doing, I lost the video of the other lifting technique using the magic erase. So I wanted to show you that, and I can show you that right here on this. So the magic erase guy, where'd he go? It is a Mr. Clean eraser, and you don't use anything but the original Mr. Clean magic eraser. You can't use new and improved or stronger formula or anything like that. It has to be the very first Mr. Clean, and I can't find it at this second. Let's see. I'll be right back. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I am going to show you. I've got my Mr. Clean magic eraser, this little piece that I tore off. Okay, I'm going to put it in the water like that, and I'm going to give it a good squeeze because we don't want this thing super, super, super wet. So there's two ways to do this. The first way is taking this, and then we're going to go here back to the table, and I'm going to take some of it from here, okay? So I've got my Mr. Clean. It's damp from the water, and I'm going to gently, well, actually, see that? Whoops, I need some more water. Squeeze it out, because right now it's smearing that paint, so I want to give it another pass. I'm going to give it another pass, another pass, another pass. Every time you give it a pass, you're disrupting that paper surface. So I want you to be aware of that, okay? So just find a clean edge, another clean edge, give it a pass, and that's how you can lift that off, okay? Another way to do it is to take your water, your brush, go here, just put some water down, let it sit for a minute. Get that down, let it sit for a minute. Take your Mr. Clean Magic Erase and go back. And lift it like that. There's two ways to go about it. This way, I still see a little bit of that texture right underneath there. I don't know if you can see it. It hasn't taken it totally off. There's still a faint hit left. But those are two ways that you can do it. This way, it all depends. This way, I didn't need as many passes with the Magic Eraser. This way, I did. So, this way did disrupt the paper a little bit more than this way. So, that's just two ways that I've done it. But two things, you know, occurred with the paper. Two different effects from the paper. The other way, excuse me. So that Magic Erase comes in real handy. And I'm going to actually show it to you on this. So I'm going to lift this up, move this away, and I'm going to trade this for this. As you can see, I have darkened my peppers, added more layers of the color to the peppers, and I'm going to, let's see here, okay, and I'm going to do this right here, oops, right there, okay, so now you see the picture right there of that. Okay, so I'm a little premature on this, but I want to make sure that I get it in to show you. So right in here, I want to lift a little bit more out of that. So I'm just going to take, just for right now, I'm just going to take my Magic Erase and I'm just going to gently stroke. I'm going to need more water in it. Just a little bit at a time. Just very gently go over the paper because I don't want to lift everything. I just want to lift a little bit. I need more water. Yep, a little bit more water. And I am going to have to be careful when I go over that again. So just want a little bit lighter right there. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do is just go back in with my brush. See if I can lift a little more out. I just want a tiny bit of that lifted out. Just right there. Just a little bit. You can scrub a little bit when you go back in with your brush, but not super hard. I'm just being very gentle because you also don't want to wreck your brush. So I just want to lift that a little bit, because I am going to go back over this with another layer. I'm definitely going to go back over that with another layer. So this one I'm going to have to bring back to the white of the paper because I lost my brightest highlight. So somehow I'm going to have to get that back. And I will get it back slowly but surely. A lot of it I'll get back because I'll just be going I'll just be adding more layers next to it as well. So okay, so I just lifted a little bit there and brought a little bit more out so I could bring this back right here, which is right up there in that corner over there. So, okay, let's see. Let me see. Now, the other thing that we lost was the, when I did the shadow, I was able to get, I'm gonna bring that back down, make it cooler. It's too pinky, very pinky, very pinky. That's too green. Okay, well, let me just bring that there. Okay, I have a feeling it's that light right there, so I'm gonna take that off. I'll put this one on instead. That one doesn't work. There we go. It's a little bit. Okay. All right. So I am going to pause this and get the part where I did the shadow, how we can go about creating that luminous shadow again, because that part of the film somehow have not been able to find it. So on my computer. So, okay, but just to reiterate and just to go back over, I did, from where we left off, I did go back and add more colored layers to this. This in here was, again, using more Hooker's Green and some Winsor Newton red. And I think I may have also done some phthalo green and, no, I think this is just Winsor Green, Hooker's Green dark, and then the Winsor Newton red. And then I did use some blue in here as well. And then this shadow here is, again, alizarin crimson. Then I dropped in some phthalo green in the darkest corners in there. And then I dropped in some dioxazine purple because I saw that dark shadow as being warm towards the edge because the reflective color of the pepper is coming in there. So I dropped in some more, or some dioxazine purple, and then I even dropped in some cad red deep drops right in there next to that pepper. I did the same pretty much in here, but this one was basically more of Hooker's Green, no, alizarin crimson and phthalo green. So that's what I did in there mostly to get that dark rich shadow in there. Like that corner right at the very corner, it's like black. It looks black. anyway. And then in these here, these were just more layers of the phthalo blue and the cadmium scarlet. And I'm just going in and just adding a little more, darkening it where I want. I'm going to be taking the biscuit off of here next and then proceeding forward with that. So this is where it's gotten so far, and I hope you guys have not stopped yours. I hope you're still working on it. I want to see them finished for sure. So I'm going to get the shadows ready to do again so that I can demo that for you again. And then once I get those sketched out and drawn, I'll be back. All right. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. And I'm going to pause this for now.